Welcome back to another edition of Market Insights. In today's installment, we look at this year's big European fear, populism. Several nations hold elections this year, and anti-Euro politicians are polling well, spurring fears that other countries will follow Britain out of the EU. So the question is, do investors need to worry about a full-on EU breakup? Results from the year's first big contest suggest not. In mid-March, the Netherlands held parliamentary elections, which turned out to be a widely hyped dud for populism. In January and February, the anti-Euro populist party of far-right firebrand Geert Wilders led polls and looked poised to win the most seats in parliament. People feared Wilders would win, become prime minister, and yank the Netherlands out of the EU and Euro. However, Prime Minister Mark Rutte and his center-right party won the most seats, sidelining Wilders. Now Rutte is trying to build a coalition government with 3 other parties. Talks probably take a while, and we don't expect the eventual government to get much done, as diverse coalitions are often gridlocked by competing interests. But this is fine for Dutch stocks, and more broadly, Wilders' flop helps reduce uncertainty. It shows pro-Euro parties have more support than people presume, and it highlights how overrated the risks of a populist wave and Brexit domino effect are. As a result, investors are going into this month's French elections with slightly less trepidation. A sunnier mentality seems right to us, and folks probably get sunnier still, regardless of who wins there or in Germany's federal elections this September. Simply knowing the outcome of these votes will let investors get over their initial fear and on with life, much as they did after Brexit last year. With that said, we think anti-Euro populists are unlikely to win sweeping power in either country. In France, nationalist Marine Le Pen, leader of the National Front, is leading several presidential polls. But this is a quirk of France's 2-round electoral system. In round 1, several candidates are on the ballot. If no one candidate wins a majority in round 1, a virtual certainty, the top 2 finishers hold a runoff 2 weeks later. Le Pen has a good shot of making it to round 2, as center-right François Fillon and independent Emmanuel Macron seem poised to split the pro-Euro vote. However, she probably won't survive round 2. Current polls show Macron and Fillon trouncing her. Granted, polls are iffy, and 40% of French voters are undecided, but recent history also argues against her. Last year, when National Front candidates progressed to the second round in local elections, the mainstream Socialist and Republican parties teamed up, endorsing each other's candidates. That probably happens again this time. And even if Le Pen wins, she can't do anything radical without parliament. The National Front likely doesn't gain enough parliamentary support in June to accomplish anything. Even if they win a plurality of seats, they'll likely be sitting in opposition to a so-called Grand Coalition of Socialists and Republicans. Either way, uncertainty will fall a lot during Q2, as these votes come and go. As for Germany, most fears center on the anti-EU Alternative for Germany party, known as AfD. Chancellor Angela Merkel is seeking a 4th term in September, but AfD looks poised to gain seats in parliament for the first time, potentially stealing votes from Merkel's Christian Democratic Union Party. Meanwhile, the main opposition Socialist Party is enjoying a renaissance thanks to the popularity of its new leader, Martin Schulz. Yet Merkel remains the most popular politician in Germany, and the CDU unexpectedly gained seats in a key regional election in late March, while AfD was shut out of the local government. Only time will tell if AfD gains traction. Most likely, Merkel or Schulz win and preside over another grand coalition, similar to Merkel's today. Both are pro-Euro, so whichever wins, expect the status quo of a gridlocked Germany with strong economic fundamentals. Much like we saw last year with the votes in the US and UK, European elections likely fail to deliver the wallop markets dread. Rather, stocks should thrive as false fears fade and uncertainty clears. Short-term volatility may surge around the French or German elections. However, once these elections occur and uncertainty falls, investors can start appreciating other positives, like the Eurozone economy's underappreciated growth. Thanks for watching.